Make the ground shake.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Game Hub. I'm your host GamerK, and it is finally time for a game review I have been waiting to do since, 3 months ago. And I'm gonna say right now, about 2 years ago, after Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and after seeing the trailer and the theories and all the information out on the internet that said Vikings was going to be the next Assassin's Creed game, I was deathly afraid because Odyssey was not as fantastic as I thought it was going to be. It derailed everything of the Assassin's Creed series. It didn't focus on what made it great, and it just kind of felt repetitive and annoying compared to what Origins made me feel before. An epic adventure, an epic emotion, amazing characters. And again, I'm deathly afraid of Valhalla when the first release trailer was announced and a little bit more information was coming. I was scared. But now, I'm wearing my new Assassin's Creed Valhalla shirt, and on the back, I had to show off the back because it's the coolest part of the shirt. But yes, ever since I've started playing the game, I wanted to do a review so quickly, but I had to beat it first. I had to do all the side stuff. Okay, no way, I did all the side stuff, mostly, except for treasures. But, oh my god, I can finally come on to this video with full open eyes, a full heart, and plenty to say. So, for all you Assassin's Creed fans and for all you Viking fans out there, and some of my friends who are Nordic, it's time to get down to business. So, before we start, SKAL. It's Dr. Pepper. I don't drink liquor. Let's get started. So, Valhalla. Once again, going way back. I mean, not too way back, because this one does take place after Odyssey and Origins, given the continuity that's done throughout the game. This game was, again, a fearful game for me, because as an Assassin's Creed fan, it was declining a little bit after Odyssey, but then it peaked right back up, and it got to the point where I fell in love with it immensely. First off, we can switch, but we can have a different character, Eivor. Well, it's kind of like what Odyssey did with Cassandra and Deimos, except this time, or Alexios. No, Deimos was the villain name. My bad. But this time, it's Eivor as a boy or a girl. And the opening scene of the game, we don't really play. We just kind of move, and then we watch it. I like how, as a kid, your character is gender neutral until you decide which Eivor you want to be. I went for the female because anytime I get a chance to play a female character, I go for it. Mostly because I'm tired of playing as male characters throughout every single game I have. Just gonna say. It doesn't really affect anything, but it does for your own preference of customization. And the opening story is fantastic. It really makes you feel the kind of the time you're in, the raids, the Vikings, the bloodshed, the unity between tribes. You feel it all. And all honesty, if I could pick out one problem in this game, it would be like with what a lot of people found, because I was going online searching for answers, is with the first couple hours of the game, when you're in the first chapter, there is a glitch where the main mission you have to go to isn't working. You can't go to it until they did a patch, which, honestly, it's not that big of a deal because it happened early on, so I'm going to let it slide. But again, the story is there. The first chapter, the first couple missions, show you the ropes of the new gameplay, from the dual wield combat to the amazing shield bash system, and just the weapon system is amazing, and the inventory segment is a lot better. You can easily dump and equip a lot of weapons, and I love that. You can go from a spear to chainmail weapon, and I love the different types of weapons in the game: shields, spears, heavy weapons, swords, daggers, short swords, the chain spikes, the flails. I love the array of weapons. It gives you a lot more diversity for your own unique play style, and you can switch it up every little bit in the game depending on what kind of weapons you come across or purchase, and upgrading them is good as well. Plus you get these runes as you go through the game, which will give you resistance, extra damage, extra health, and equipping them to set items and articles of armor. And one thing I love is that you can toggle some of the armor. So while you have the armor, you can toggle it so it's not being shown. And a lot of people kind of like to do that. I like to do that just to make my character feel more feminine. Well, not feminine, but not be, okay, I'm going too far. But another customization that I really love for this game, I mean, I know I'm bouncing between when I was talking about the story to the customization stuff, but I want to get that stuff out of the way so I can talk more about the good stuff. Customization. You can change your hairstyle, your hair color. There are set ones throughout the game and throughout every shop in every area. So you can purchase different hairstyles and colors, but it's mostly between shaved head, blonde, red, or black. Blonde, red, or brown. I don't think you can get dark hair. And you can style it in different ways or have it shaved. And tattoos for face, arms, shoulders, torso, and back. I love the unique styles of the tattoos, and I really love having different ones in each section, in each bit of the story, just to keep things a little different here and now. And all of them fit into the cutscenes. I really love that they've gone out of their way to show that your customization goes into the cutscene, because in a couple games, say, number 3, it doesn't matter if you change Connor's color, it didn't appear in the cutscenes, which sucked. But I'm glad that they're allowing the customization to appear in the cutscenes in the game. I really enjoy that. Now, going into the main story. Oh boy, I thought Origin, the one, I'm going to get to this in the end of the game. Okay, I'm going to get to what I was going to say to the end of the review, because it's a lot, and I want to talk about it more. So after doing all this main stuff and figuring out that your adoptive father has given away your clan to this new king, your half, I guess, kind of stepbrother. Shoot, I forgot his... Sigurd, thank you. It finally came to me. You and a good number of the tribe venture off into England to form a new settlement and to form new alliances. Now, creating your settlement takes a lot of work, and it includes a new system that I really enjoy, and I'm kind of glad that there aren't, naval combat in this game, because I prefer the raid system, where you go to an area on your boat, and there's gold and resources to be done. You raid it with your Vikings, you defeat the enemies, you raid the treasure chests, and then you get the heck out. So basically, Nordic drive-by, hit and run kind of thing. And it's really, really fun and a cool way to do resources. So you're not, you can scavenge the map, but there's always going to be monasteries around the map, even close to water. If you go to the map and you zoom into the monasteries, you can hear the oh, he, or some chanting like that to indicate it's a monastery. I love that when you zoom into certain parts of the map, of the giant map, you will hear sounds that kind of indicate what's around there, either a battlefield or a monastery or wild animals. I really enjoy it. It's a really cool a little thing for the map, just a little aesthetic. Let's see here. One thing really love about the game is the hang on, where is it? The alliance map in your settlement. After you settle down and you get a couple people and you build up your location, more people will come. And you can also purchase little aesthetics for your settlement, whether it be statues or offerings or a giant tree in the middle. It's completely up to you of how you want to build your settlement, and I really enjoy that. And the alliance map is fantastic as well. It's a cool way of how to move the story, because you're new in England, you will need allies. So as you progress through the game, more locations will need your help with something where you will build alliances. And I'm gonna say this. You need to make your choice. You need to actually do the work in this game, but I'll get to that in a second. Depending on what level you're at, you can either take on a challenging one and obviously fail, or you can do the smaller ones and build up your alliances. And each one will either have a regular problem to deal with, or you will find an Order of Ancients member. And I really love this. The Order of Ancients are by far one of my favorite pre-villains of the Templars from Origins, and they kind of bombed in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And there are some you can find throughout the map while finding clues in certain locations. I mean, they give you a couple characters right off the bat, and then you will find more, but some of them are story-related or only. And one thing I gotta get to right now, they brought back the White Room. Also, when you kill the certain characters, they will do this X-ray thing where it will show the blade going into the skull, into the spine, into the intestines, into whatever you're stabbing realistically. And then we get to talk with them. And they're not lying down like they were in the previous games. But like in Assassin's Creed Origins, only the main story ones had those grand illusion type motif where they talk to us about their philosophy or what's going on in the world, and it's amazing of how well they do it, and I want this to continue. And although I kind of gotta say a little thing, even though the Order of Ancients is done in this game, and it kind of hints a little bit at the end that the Templars are going to be the next big thing, I honestly am okay with that. The Order of Ancients were the pre-Templars, and now it's time for the Templars to see their reign in a little bit more areas. Please let the next game be Japan. Please. But going back to that, the Order of Ancients are scattered throughout the map, and it's intriguing hunting them down and doing that, and especially during the main missions of the alliances. I mean, not every single alliance mission, which is a main mission, you will get an Order of Ancients member, which I'm happy for. We get a little break, and we get to do a little bit more Viking politics, pretty much, which I really love. Aside from that, there are a good amount of side missions, which are called world events in this game. And they're all scattered throughout the area. And I swear to God, some of these are either hilarious, annoying, fun, and just creative. And they serve their own story. You never feel like you're doing the exact same thing over and over and over and over and over. Odyssey and over and over. Odyssey again. That's what I love about Valhalla. They took the time to create a really cool side missions that makes you give a damn. Not only that, but again, choices matter in this game more than they mattered in Odyssey. And I'm not over explaining that, because well as Odyssey, you can kind of obviously go for the good route, but depending on your choices in either in side missions and main missions, it will affect the overall outcome of certain areas that you can't even foresee. And I love that. Like in a mission where a woman whose cat died. She wants you to do a funeral, but you have to get through her house and find the items. But there's a lot of cats, so you can't just berserk your way through it, and you might kill the cats because you're gonna. Yeah, it's not going to end well. More rather, I'm going to give you a little hint here. At the area where there's a crawl space, use your bow and arrow precise. Use the predator bow precise to shoot it and break it, and then crawl through it so you don't risk endangering the cats. That's another thing I love about this game. Even though you can either go the berserk way and pretty much ruin your reputation, or you can kind of go the smart and diplomatic way and go and gain trust and alliance with people. Also, I'm going to tell you, in a couple missions, you're going to need to actually look for clues, like discerning who the traitor is. And even though it's easier just to guess or look it up, don't you just want to feel like you accomplished something? Like the first one I did, where you have to indicate who the traitor is before you take on the guy Ludwig. I feel like I should be either bringing up a picture of Ludwig from Bowser or Ludwig von Drake from Disney. Whichever. But one of them, you need to go back to the swamp area where you were and look at all the 3 boats where you rescued all 3 of the personnel. And indicate which, and also question people. I enjoy questioning them and hearing their testimony. So, again, all this stuff I'm talking about, I will get to in the end of the review because it's something I really want to emphasize about this game. So, as the story goes, you will develop feelings for all these side characters that I honestly did. Every time I battled with Soma, the female warrior, the first one I did, fighting the guys in London, trying to take back their city from the corruption. And oh, by the way, just gonna say this: in 3 of the main missions, you will track down 3 Order of Ancients members. And I'm gonna say this. No, you know what? I'm gonna wait for the review. I'm getting sidetracked a lot. Where else? So yeah, I talked about the side missions, and for examples, like in London, I think, you will have to help a guy who kind of boxed himself into his warehouse, but you have to be careful not to destroy the jars that you move and help him get out, or else it's going to stink up the place and you're not going to get a lot for your work. So take the time and remove them. Or in the settlement, the children who are being, children are stuck, and a wolf helps. And then you get a wolf companion, which I really love because I'm a big wolf fan. I love wolves. They're my favorite animal. And with the kids' help, you get to name him. I went with Chewy, and the wolf is around the settlement in your quarters, and it's fantastic. Not only that, but you get to call your wolf to attack people while you're in stealth mode or just to help you fight. I love that. And the wolf will never die, so that's good too. Going back a little bit to the Order of Ancients, I know I'm piggybacking because that's how I do my reviews. I kind of go back and forth because that's how I do things. In the Order of Ancients member branch, there's not as many as there were in Origins. There's not as many as Odyssey, but there's more than there were in Origins, and you actually get to kill all of them. And one thing I really, really enjoy is that you actually get to see, read their bio like you would in Odyssey and in Origins. You get to see their kind of story a little bit, and it's enjoyable revealing them, especially when you're watching, just having a blast finding out who's who, and it's just all good fun. I was talking about the side missions. Also, there will be one in a swamp where a not angry monk is there, and you can do whatever you want. Burn his house, kill his cow. He won't care. He won't get mad until you take the key and open the door, and it turns out that there are corpses. Yeah, I told you, there's going to be a couple spoilers, but it's nothing big, and then you will have to kill him. It's creepy. I love in some side missions that they up the creep factor a little bit by having it completely brought out of left field. And also there's one where baseball star Cody Bellinger guest stars as a baseball Viking. Yeah, let that ring in your head a little bit until you think I'm crazy. I'm not. Which is just an archery challenge where you have to hit a bullseye. So upgrading your archery and also, you know, having the predator bows, which would be a big help. And there are some easy ones, like a Wonderland one. It's spelled U, but it's Wonderland. Where you just hear a girl talking and she fell down a hole and you just get her out, and she talks about her following the rabbit. So it's, yeah, I like how in some of the side missions they kind of make references to other types of media, and I really, in a Viking game nonetheless, I enjoy that. It's fun. And other than the world activities, there are other things like finding the lost Drengers, which are ancient warriors in certain parts of the game where they want you to kill them and prove that they're worthy to go to Valhalla. And a lot of them are fun. They have their own unique fight style, their weapons, their own kind of personalities a little bit, and they all die with honor, which is something I really enjoy. It kind of speaks to the Viking lore that they're old, but they don't want to keel over. And also, they're some of the strongest enemies in the game, so you will have to upgrade yourself and level up more. Other things are the three sisters in the swamp, where, again, they're tough enemies, and they each have their own fight style, so you're going to need to see what works with weaponry and level up. So, trust me. But that's how you get an ancient armor, obviously, because there's always got to be an ancient armor in an Assassin's Creed game. There are also the legendary animals scattered throughout, and especially when you can go back to Norway and fight a giant polar bear. Why do I think of the Golden Compass when I say giant polar bear? There's also Animus Anomalies, which is basically an obstacle course puzzle, which I kind of wish they did like actual puzzles, but I'll take what I can get. There's also a drinking game, which is basically any drinking game in a video game where you just have to hit the button at the right time to drink more and then move your stick left or right so you don't lose your balance. And two of the best things in this game, other than the main story, the characters and all that, I'll get to the characters again because I'm just going over the side missions and everything, is Flighting, which is basically Viking rap battle, where if you complete it, you just gotta match the tone and the rhyme in order to do well. And it's scattered throughout the game. And I'm telling you this, before you do a lot of missions, build up your charisma, because Flighting, once you do it, it will level up your charisma, and the charisma is important. It will allow you to talk your way out of a situation instead of going to battle. And it really comes in handy a good number of times if you don't want to get overrun by enemies, so you can talk your way out of situations. And it's definitely good in the main missions later on, because it will definitely come in handy and make your job a little bit easier. That's why I always go the diplomatic way and not so the berserker way. I'm a diplomatic Viking. Hard to believe. And the second best thing is Orlog, which is a dice game where you can play at taverns and other characters throughout the map. It's basically a kind of game of rock, paper, scissors a little bit with a little twist. You basically have to deplete your opponent's life points by using luck and your dice. So basically you got axes which deal damage, you got shields which will defend against arrows. You got helmets, which will defend against axes, and arrows, which will deal damage. Also, there's a hand symbol, which allows you to steal power away from the opponent, because some dice have a little colored border on some of the faces of the dice, which will give you power when rolled. Also, you will be given the god figures, which you will get 3 figures for a fight. You will collect more as you defeat every opponent, and each one has a special ability, whether it's dealing damage, recovering damage, re-rolling dice, or just canceling dice out in general. And finding the correct combination of each game, it's all up to you of how you want to play. It's kind of like it's a geeky dice Viking game within a game. It's amazing. I spent hundreds of hours playing the dice game just to kill time, because I got tired of running from people and killing. It's a good pastime. There's also a side mission where kind of like it definitely adds to the story. It's the Asgard, where you play as the Raven guy, Odin, as your character, and you get to interact with all these mythical Norse figures. And the story definitely shows that it's connected to the present. I'm not going to give too much away, but the boss fights are really, really fun. You fight Loki, you fight the Frost Giant King, you fight Fenrir, my favorite mythological creature, and again, it will contradict and allow a little bit more into the story of the main game. This is a side thing, but it still adds to the story. And so, what does the assassins have to do with this? Well, going back to Norway, the start of the game, Basem and Hytham, I know, I was scared when I heard the name Hytham. I thought it was Hatham again. So they're from the Hidden Ones, and they are friends with Sigurd, our brother, and they ask us to join them and help them out with the Order of Ancients after we kill the first boss of the game. And Eivor basically says that we're not interested, but if it helps us, we will help you. And I really love that kind of relationship. And also, Eivor decides to put the blade on the wrists, on the upper arm, on the forearm instead of here, whereas Basem and Hytham say that it's tradition to have it underneath, and Eivor basically says, so I don't avoid what happened to you, indicating the finger. And I really love that. Eivor doesn't disrespect their traditions, just finds it more practical to have it on there, and at the same time, she doesn't, I say she because I was a female Eivor, we don't completely disregard, we don't join them, but we ally ourselves with them. I really enjoy that we don't join the Hidden Ones, but we work with them. Whereas in Odyssey, nothing about that was ever mentioned until the DLC. So, yeah, I'm bagging a lot on Odyssey in this video. And for good reason. Let's see. What else? What else do I need to talk about? One thing Odyssey did a lot of was a lot of the romance and love interests throughout almost every single side mission and every single main mission, if possible. This one is kind of limited a little bit. I mean, there are characters you can be with during the missions. And in the main missions, you can either be with 2 people from your settlement, or I'm going to say this, Sigurd's wife, who is more attracted to you than she is to him. You can choose to do this while he's away at a certain part in the game and kind of behind his back, or you can wait till near the end of the game where things don't go well for them, and then you can be with her. There's no nudity, there's no real, stuff it's not as aggressive as Cyberpunk was, but it's still lovely to see a little bit more romance in the Viking Age and in Assassin's Creed in general. Okay, so I'm going... Oh, I forgot to say one thing. One of my favorite main missions, it's one that doesn't involve the Order of Ancients whatsoever. It's basically Helheim. No, Samhain, which is basically Viking Halloween. My favorite holiday is in this game, and we actually get to dress up in a deer mask. Well, a skeleton deer mask while we're there in that location. We get to go trick-or-treating and then solve a kidnapping and a mysterious cult for Burning Man and Samhain. It's incredible of how these side stories, they don't all interconnect like a lot of main stories in Assassin's Creed, but each one, it feels like it's its own chapter, and I love that. I love how you get lost in the story of one main mission, and then when you get to a new one, it's something completely brand new. Each one feels like it's its own story, and it never feels like, again, you're never doing the same thing multiple times, or to where the point where it feels like it's getting boring and you want to take a break. I continued so much into this game, more than I did Odyssey, because it felt like in Odyssey I did the exact same thing about 50 times and it didn't get any different at all. And going back to the characters, the characters you build friendships with and alliances with, as you talk to them and screw around a little bit, you feel for the characters. You want them to help you. You want to see their views on everything, even though it may conflict with their territories. It's something that I really love. And seeing certain characters die, or certain characters that you built a relationship with and you had to end them for certain reasons, you actually feel for these characters. And that's something I love in a game, when it makes me feel this much for a character that I don't want to kill them. It's amazing. It shows you the depth and heart that goes into creating these stories and these characters, and it shows. So for the character designs and for the story that makes you care for all these characters, Assassin's Creed Valhalla did it in spades. So well done to Ubisoft for that. And now, time for the technical stuff and the big thing I was going to comment about. The main game, I beat it in like a month or a month and a half. The main story is, on average, 53 plus hours. So that's a long time. And completionists, to do everything while taking your time, is at most plus 131 hours of gameplay. And I definitely surpassed that, going in of dying, trying stuff and didn't work. Also, I'm going to say this, going back to the legendary animals, there's a giant polar bear, there's 2 bobcats, a small one and a big one, there's 3 big wolves, and also there's a drunk bear. It reminds me of if Winnie the Pooh or Baloo got into the alcohol. It's fun. Now, a big thing I want to say about Valhalla. In the beginning, I was afraid to touch it. I was worried it would succumb to the curse that was Odyssey. But Valhalla gave us an incredible story, fantastic character development, and characters throughout the entire game. Side missions that were colorful and definitely original in their own respect. Side missions that honestly felt like they deserved to be longer, but a lot of them were longer. Actually having to figure stuff out in the game by some detective work, which I really, really enjoyed. Weapon system, a dual wielding weapon system, and numerous types of weapons definitely makes this game feel like you can make it your own. You can create your own saga in the Viking world. The villains, the Order of Ancients being back, and the White Room being back, and making it grander than Origins, definitely hit their stride. Now, one thing I wanted to talk about this game is it feels like they took the best parts of every Assassin's Creed game and merged it into one. They took the lessons and the kind of the villain plots from Assassin's Creed 1, because I'm telling you, the main mission, Order of Ancients, make you feel like you're re-killing some of the Templars from Assassin's Creed 1. Because you have someone like Abul Nukud, who, okay, I'm not going to go into big detail, but you have people like Sabrand, who has burning knowledge of religious texts. You've got someone like Gane de Pelus, who's trying to figure out the human condition, but goes too far. And it's amazing of how many female to male male and female Order of Ancients members we have, so it balances it out a little bit. All honesty, though, once we find out the main one, like after we complete a certain section of Templar Order of Ancients, we reveal the main villain of the group, of that group. It's just sad that they didn't get their own grand ones. Like, it's kind of like the subordinates, like you kill throughout the world and not in the story. But overall, it's done. It's fantastic. In Assassin's Creed 2, we've got building your settlement. No, wait, that was in number 3, and brother, that was in number 3. From number 2, we have an incredible story that gets to a little bit revengey near the middle, which I'm all for. In Brotherhood and in Revelations, it's a new world where we gotta build up from the ground up and gather resources, which I really enjoyed. From number 3, we got amazing mini games, the flighting, the drinking game, and Orlog, the dice game. I could spend hundreds of hours playing that, and I have. From Assassin's Creed Black Flags, we have the massive map and the incredible amount of... Okay, yeah, Black Flag didn't have an incredible amount of side missions, but the vast map that allowed us to explore every inch and enjoy every discovery. From Rogue, we got nothing. From Unity, what did we get from Unity? We kind of got a little bit of detective work after having to, in some main missions, to question the characters and then decide guilt and going through the choices, although that's the only thing Unity gave us, and I missed that. Syndicate, we got... what did we get from Syndicate? All honesty, from Syndicate, we got nothing. From Origins, we got the great detail, the dual weapon system, and also we got the fantastic Order of Ancients as villains for the preset era before the Templars, and they improved it heavily. And what they got from Odyssey was the massive amounts of the Cult of Cosmos members. We got a lot of members of the Order of Ancients, not as much as the Cult, but we got a lot that made it feel like a satisfying game. And from story to characters to development to the world to the side quests to just feeling for the characters and caring about the outcome so that you make your choices matter, Assassin's Creed Valhalla did an incredible job, and it turned me over from being afraid to touch this game. Ah, crap. Hang on. One thing I forgot to do for my game review. It's been a while since I've done a game review, so forgive me if I forgot to have the game here while I'm reviewing it. Yeah. Hang on. Technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen. It happens to the best of us, which... yeah, I think being in lockdown for 2 months has kind of messed up my thought process of how I do this. So forgive me. Next time I do a game review, I will remember to do this. So back to what I was saying. From story to character to the amazing world to the emotions that I feel, to the end game, the weapon system, the side missions... everything about this game. Not only that, but they also added a lot of blood effect and decapitation and loss of limbs to make it feel like a violent battle. Like, it's just not, ugh, and they fall. It shows you the depth of detail they went with this game. And I applaud Ubisoft for making this game something that Odyssey should have been and what Origins was. It took the best elements from all the previous games, in my opinion, and transformed it into a game that needs to be played. And for people who say, oh, but it's not Assassin's Creed anymore. Yes, it is. If you actually follow along and not just listen to what ranters say, this game is a must-have for an Assassin's Creed player. And even if you're not an Assassin's Creed fan and you just want a good Viking game, this is your best bet. And the DLC is coming next month, so I hope the adventure continues. So, the final verdict, GamerK's final verdict for Assassin's Creed Valhalla is a 9 out of 10. It was originally going to be an 8 because there are a couple things that could have been done better, like a little bit more of the Order of Ancients, and maybe having some of them have more of that in-depth, really cool White Room scene. But in the end, Valhalla gets the extra point because of how much when a game makes me look forward to the DLC, that's something that needs to be accustomed, because the story ended very well, but the fact that I want to know what's going to happen again, more into their story, it just makes me want more. It makes me relive the emotion that I felt playing the game, and if I'm going to feel that in the next game. So yes, it deserves a 9 out of 10. The extra point gets on there for making me love the game, even though I was scared to play it in the originally. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Like, comment, subscribe down below, and join me next time where we end the month of February with a little game of cops and robbers. This is GamerK, logging out.